Mga kababayan, 2 araw po natin inantay ito. Narito na po, Swift laban sa Coney Island. Let's go to the Coney Island Ice Cream Stars. They're kicking off with Evangelista Jerry Codinera. Manny Victorino is there. Glenn Capasio is also there.
Together with Rosella.
Yes, and Rosella was covered by Jerry Codinera. Thank you, Dr. J. First possession, Swift. It's Boybits Victoria, Meneses, together with Distrito, Rhea Lubit, and Nelson Asaytono.
First crack at the basket. Meneses also is going to be tested in this ball game as he gets the first 2 points of the game. Although he's been in the league quite a couple of years now, you know, it's one of the big tests on how much he can prove himself against a very tough defensive team like the Coney Island All-Stars.
Had a great game against Coney Island, and the last time they met, scored a total of 28 points. Here's Evangelista. He loves to cut up the inside. We're tied. Still the first minute of action. Long Tom doesn't work. The referees, by the way, Andy Bartolome, De Leon, and Rivera.
Coney Island showing a little patience in their half-court game. And there's a loud pass there to Jerry. He should have the advantage here. But the weak side help made him miss that shot.
You're absolutely correct when you said Jerry Codinera. He's the most consistent ice cream star as of the present time. Still tied at 2-all. Each basket, each possession will be so vital in a game like this.
Coney Island working too far out in the perimeter, you know, so the shot clock has now winded down to only 5 seconds for them.
Danger zone. Jerry unloads. It's a 3-second violation. Evangelista thought that Jerry would uncork the first time up.
And that's the reason why he went into the blue paint trying to get a possible offensive rebound. Now look at the defensive assignments of the Coney Island All-Stars. We have Manny Victorino, a very tall player, who can guard people on the outside, picking up Berhel Meneses. On the other hand, we have Capasio putting the cuffs there on Rudy Di Distrito, a player that they know plays well under pressure.
Meanwhile, you know, the lineups on the floor so potent for both sides, especially when you take a look at Swift. Victorino collects the first foul of the game. We're tied at 2-all, 10 minutes, 15 seconds remaining still in the opening salvo here tonight. Only one game, friends, and the game that counts. San Miguel waiting in the wings for an opponent.
Jerry Codinera is picking up Nelson Asaytono, and an attempted stuff there by Rhea Lubit. Goes Ray. Wasted 2 points.
Yes, could have given them the early lead here. 2 minutes going by us. Victorino with a spin. Meneses had nothing but teammates beside him there. Lead pass is taken away. Codinera, Victorino trying to challenge Meneses. Decides to swing the ball around. Victorino.
That's going to be an illegal pick. So 2 personal fouls now for Manny Victorino, and he made a mistake in that play. He was posted up against Berhel Meneses. Not a very good defensive or strong player at the post, and Manny should have just backed him up slowly and taken him to the hoop.
And for that reason, possession changing hands. Victorino has all of the fouls of the game so far.
Both teams are feeling the pressure at this point,
yes.
And the teams are playing straight-up man-to-man defense. Nelson Asaytono tries a long one, and Victorino has 2 defensive rebounds now in the match.
Here's Rosella starting off, one of the rare times that he starts off. Evangelista against Meneses, gets gobbled up. He's taking it strong, collects a foul in the process.
In the early goings of this first quarter, Evangelista showing a lot of poise underneath the basket, especially when he has to go up against those big players of the Mighty Meaties.
It was Zeldy Rhea Lubit, Dr. J, who ended up with the foul, the first foul of Swift. 3 minutes have gone by.
Evangelista has all the 3 points of the Coney Island All-Stars. They have a 1-point lead. Well, like you mentioned, Seb, 3 minutes have gone by, and so far we have a 3-2 score only.
On your screens, the numbers of Evangelista against the Swift team in their head-to-head battles so far this year. It's 4-2, Coney Island in front at this juncture, 8:50 remaining. Asaytono above the key.
Well, they're taking a lot of time in setting up their play. The shot clock down again to 6. Distrito is going to be called for a traveling violation.
8:40 to go.
So far, referee Rivera has proven among the referees that he's the #1 caller of the traveling violations, as Ronnie and I were pointing out earlier.
He seems to like this rhythm not being broken, huh?
In other words, it's his specialty. I mean, he calls it on everybody, whoever team it is.
Regardless. Capascio with a strong move. And Coney Island advances by 4.
That's a very important player to me. In the past, even in championship games, especially against San Miguel, Glenn Capascio has delivered when it's needed. And you know he can score. He must be given the opportunity by his team to score. Meneses gets another 2 points, and he has 4 for the Swift Mighty Meaties.
Inside 8 minutes now. Both teams trying to experiment with the patterns they went to in practice.
And they're being slow about it. No?
Yes.
They are very deliberate with their half-court game at this point. A lot of screenings and a lot of movement.
Victorino pops. Yes.
Get a good bounce. So the 2 guys that I feel should really contribute here have done so. Victorino has 2 points, Capascio has 2. But a nice getaway here by the destroyer, Rudy Distrito.
And Glenn Capascio ended up with a foul being called against him. His first. Coney Island has already gathered 3 fouls. Swift has been called for 1.
You know, you have to give it to this guy. He first entered the league, I think, in 1979 or 1980 with Crispa. Had to move back to the amateurs when nobody wanted to pick him up. Has been a traveler through Magnolia and all those teams before finally settling down here, and also with Ginebra, where he really shone, especially the championship game, which he helped with.
Meanwhile, a useless foul in the backcourt by Boyvitz Victoria. The first on the rookie. The count reads 8-7, 7:30 to go in the opening quarter. Reporting to you from the Astrodome, Seb Sarmento with Dr. J. Andy Howe in our very special Vintage Sports Friday the 13th presentation.
Evangelista being asked to post up against Meneses. There is a double team.
Capascio, roadblock in front of him. Victoria had a hand on it. Victoria beats Cordillera.
I think Jerry could have gone for the block, but I think he wanted to save the possibility of giving up a foul this early. He doesn't want to get into foul trouble with Victoria about a step ahead of him.
With that bucket, Swift moves ahead 9-8, 6:50 to go. Glenn Capascio, offensive foul.
2 personal fouls now for Glenn Capascio, a total of 14 fouls so far for the Coney Island All-Stars. Swift has 2.
Frankie Lin will report for the first time, pulling out Olsen Rosella. Alvin Patrimonio also on deck. Manny Victorino will sit down. The captain moves in for the first time at the 6:44 mark of the opening quarter.
Alvin has had all kinds of injuries, including having coming off a bout with the fever, and then eventually people noticing that he had some problems with his knee, no?
Something he has not experienced during the course of his career. Power move, producing nothing for Ria Lubin. Chance now for Coney Island to grab the lead. They're down by a point. They're taking it hard. Evangelista traveled. Forced into that ungainly situation by Boyvitz Victoria.
Well, at this situation, they could have really called a hell ball, because there's quite a while when they were holding on to each other, but when he was able to pluck the ball out with his stronger grip, he did travel, and that's why the violation was called against him.
Doesn't work from 3-point distance. 6 minutes, 6 seconds remaining. Fantastic lead pass. Jerry backing up. Shot in goal. They regain possession. Patrimonio, great cover by Jerry Cordillera. There's bagging downstairs.
A big struggle off the boards in that last play. No score so far for quite a while now, with 5:40 left in the first quarter.
The stretch doesn't work. Coney Island with another opportunity to surge ahead. Evangelista gets blocked. Capasio, no sir, he's stripped. It's taken away by Swift. Here goes Swift. Evangelista says no way. Capasio stopped, fires, yes!
4 points in the ball game now for Capasio, a 1-point lead. In this kind of game, Sev, you're going to expect the referees to allow you a little bit more banging. You just really have got to hold on to the ball after a offensive rebound.
Absolutely a good point, Dr. J. We find Coney Island advancing now by a point, 10-9 with 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Triple. Swift trying to use that as a weapon. It has been a dud so far.
Well, it is one of their strongest weapons, but at the moment, just a little bit too early to use it. An offensive foul called the Patrimonio.
A mighty Meanies have just decided to take a timeout, and that's the foul by Patrimonio. Knockout game. The winner here advances to meet San Miguel. San Miguel gaining at least a week's rest by virtue of the quotient that gave them the advantage of going into the finals. 10-9 is the count here. 4:40 remaining in the first.
The Coney Island All-Stars are ready in the penalty situation. Nice pass there. And Realupin finally gets his first 2 points of the ball game after muffing an easy dunk shot and a drive underneath the basket.
Patrimonio reclaims the lead for Coney Island.
They're really putting the defense on Alvin, so he knew he had to take an outside shot as shown in that last play.
12-11, 4:03 to go. Asaytono asking for some movement. Becomes an isolation now. Can't shake off Jerry. Jerry like a rock there.
You see, he really has no advantage on a one-on-one against Jerry. Jerry is wide enough and knows his movements very well. As we take a look at Ron Jacobs, who's seated to the right of us, he is a consultant and of the coaching staff of the Beermen, and obviously he can help as far as, you know, digressing, studying the other team's plays, coming up with his own ideas on what to do. And I'm sure he's with interest. They're looking on who are they going to play. You know?
Absolutely. Patrimonio, nothing off that try. 3:36 to go. Distrito starts his power drive, produces nothing. Victoria, triple V.
Yes. That's a big one there for the rookie, because it will certainly improve his confidence, you know, that he can hit a three-point shot in such a crucial ball game.
Victoria has improved his average here in the semifinals. Patrimonio with a spin. Just to go back to Victoria, he was averaging below 10 points in the elimination round. Jocked it up to 14.6 in the semifinal round.
Well, his playing minutes must have really gone up by leaps and bounds, especially with the injury to Solis. Yes. And the confidence that Yeng Giao has found in this young guy. He takes another three-point attempt. This one's way off the mark. Coney Island really hasn't run that much in this first quarter of play.
Currently, the score is tied at 14. The second deadlock, Patrimonio goes to work. That shot didn't work, however.
Left-handed hook shot. Not really his shot, no?
Not exactly his cup of tea at this. Has not really honed that shot. Meneses off the window, checking that off the back rim. And there's a rescue job by Saudi Realupin.
Coney Island All-Stars must do a better job at boxing out and not allow second chance points for the Swift Mighty Meaties, who have now taken a 2-point lead with 2 minutes left. We see Al Solis and Ravenna being sent to the scorer's bench.
Here's Capasio. Evangelista. Downstairs to the Rock.
Well, they're very solid in trying to go to the low post as long as they can get some movement so that the double team won't come against either Jerry or Alvin. And they've been successful with that in several plays now.
Realupin working on the outside. The game is currently tied. Asaytono, the bull at work.
The study in one-on-one right now. Not too much double teaming, and we see individual talent shining right now.
Like in that last play where Asaytono had a gentle hook, enough to give Swift a 2-point advantage inside to the captain. Great fake. That one did go. Jerry with a tip in. No, Asaytono touching it last. And we will have some changes. We'll tell you all about them when we return after this timeout by Coney Island. Dr. J was beginning to talk about the tradition of Coney Island of having made the All-Filipino Finals every time since they joined the league way back in 1988. The time they got it and became champion of the All-Filipino was in 1991. A 3-2 victory against this very same franchise with Eli Capaccio as their coach at that time.
That's right. And this franchise was, of Swift was known as Sarsi. The very first trip to the finals. Good call by referee Dondo. He did travel as he tried to take Nelson Asaytono to the hoop. 57.3 seconds left.
Yes, and I remember that finals, Dr. J. Swift even led
2-0
in the early goings. Then later on in the next year, 1992, they lost to San Miguel, that's Coney Island, and then they won against San Miguel last year.
4-2.
4-2.
They also lost against the Presto team in 1990. I think not going the full route of 7 games. No, Alan Caidic was a member of that Presto team at that time, together with guys like Manny Victorino.
On the floor for the first time, we have Al Solis, Ferdinand Ravena. Villamin is also there. 4 on the shot clock. Solis, yes!
Solis still has that range and a big clenched fist, because that is certainly going to spell a lot of problems for the defense of the All-Stars, who have begun to sack down a lot.
Solis missing 5 of the 8 games of Swift in the semifinals.
And the White Shirts are running with 16 seconds left. Meneses hang time!
And Swift is in front, 23-16.
A big 5-0 explosion there off the timeout gives them a 7-point lead, and a good foul by Villamin because they are not in the penalty.
First on Villamin, the third on Swift, and he's doing his homework.
Well, that's what you're paid for, you know. Come around, you know, he's got to watch, he's got to take notes of both teams because he has really no idea who's going to win this match.
And that ends the first quarter. I think Norman Black, Ron Jacobs, they've seen enough, but there's still 3 quarters to go. We'll be back for the second quarter of action. 23-16 is the score where we take off from.
Shot clock is down to 7. Again, Coney Island starting off very low. Traveling violation again called on Frankie Lim as he tried to post up Solis in that last play. Well, this is the familiar backcourt team of the Swift Mighty Meaties, Al Solis and Rudy Distrito. Both of them are good gunners from the outside. Both of them can penetrate well.
Here's Distrito. By the way, on the floor for the first time for Coney Island, we have Abuda.
Abuda was picked up by this team last year, but suffered an injury in the first quarter. Has never really shown, but now given an opportunity to do so.
I think he even went to the States
for the operation.
And with 3 seconds remaining on the shot clock, that piece of action drew a foul.
See, the reason why he was put in there was trying to put the cuffs on Meneses, but Meneses just too quick and too crafty for Abuda's kind of defense, and Berhel will go to the free throw line.
Abuda committing his first. And now, we talked about Coney Island and their history here in the All-Filipino. How about Swift? Well, we talked about the fact that they were a finalist in 1991. In the last 2 years, they have ended up as finisher of 3rd place.
Well, it is also payback time on their part. You know, they're feeling that they could have had a chance at being the champions last year, but in 3 games, very close games, none were blowouts, including 1 overtime. The Coney Island All-Stars took them out of the fight.
And eventually Coney Island went on to win
a championship.
against
So
San Miguel.
to them, you know, they really played well.
Patrimonio took on 4 of them there.
But this is the patented move of Alvin Patrimonio that has endeared him to the fans of basketball and the PBA. You know, his strength and his ability to score underneath. Good steal here. But again, the break for the All-Stars, very, very slow. Alvin's trying to speed it up a little bit. Good play.
Villamin with his second personal foul. Victoria reports back in, pulling out Rudy Distrito. I think by this time, I think the guards of Swift are more or less accustomed to this
rotation.
Yes, this
rotation.
Better word, rotation.
But you see, Seb, they're so big a threat because all of the three of them are all good three-point shooters. All of them can shoot from long range. So you can just imagine that you continuously have to keep an eye on their two guards on the outside. If the ball gets back there, they can burn you with those long toms. As we see also Rosella coming in for Evangelista.
Yes. No, it's Abuda.
Abuda, I'm
He
sorry.
changed to Abuda.
Abuda, yes.
So Chot Reyes, who you saw earlier, going to his two-point guards.
At the same time, he feels that Rosella can match up well with Victoria rather than with the Distrito, who will just use his power against Rosella.
The second period, friends, is down to 10 minutes and 30 seconds. It's a 5-point Swift lead, 25-20. Our first quarter ended with Swift in front by 7, 23-16. And now a traveling call
against Yoyo Villamin, which nullified the jumper. Well, Yoyo should realize that he is no longer the offensive threat that he was before, and with Alvin on top of him, he really must use himself more as a bait, as a decoy player, as a guy who's providing screens. We have another holding foul called on Villamin, I think.
And Villamin picks up foul number 3. Zaldiria Lubit, who started off, pulls out Nelson Asaytono in the Swift roster. The second quarter is left with 10 minutes and 13 seconds. Knockout game, winner here advances to meet the San Miguel Beermen.
One game only.
One night only.
One chance only.
Cordillera can't get it to go in, had a good line.
Well, so far, Meneses is the only player that has not been replaced from the original starting 5 unit of the Swift Mighty Meaties. A bad bounce pass there by Ria Lubit. Rosella trying to speed up things, but nobody running with him from his teammates.
Thus enabling Swift to come down just as quickly.
That's right.
That didn't work. 9:36 to go. 5-point Swift lead.
Offense going sour for both teams now.
3 unproductive
traveling.
sequences.
That's traveling.
Yes. And you're absolutely right about that, referee Rivera, huh?
That's right.
I think he must have called, not that he just loves the call, it happens in front of him.
Coney Island deliberately slowing down their game, trying to lower the score in this match, and then being deliberate about getting their 2 points.
Mount Cordillera has just cut down the lead to 3. A timeout by Yengya. A pleasant evening to all of you. Magandang gabi, Bayan, Pilipinas, for joining us tonight at this knockout game. We're in the second quarter, and it currently stands at 25-22 in favor of Swift. We are stepping out of a huddle called by Swift.
Well, their lead had been cut down from 7 to 3 due to turnovers and ineffectivity in their half-court game. We have a foul called on Victoria, offensive foul, his second personal foul. Now 3 team fouls called against Swift, 1 against Coney Island.
So far in the quarter, Coney Island has outscored Swift 6-2.
That's right, and that's why they have cut down that 7-point lead to 3. They have possession, and we could have even the equalizer on this play.
Should they decide to take an ICBM? Patrimonio is posting up.
And a complete turnaround as far as the team fouls in this quarter. All of a sudden, it is now Swift with 14 fouls compared to 1 for Coney Island.
And Boybits Victoria picks up his 3rd personal foul, and thus Leroy Albarillo got the eye of Yengya to please step in before any more fouls get called on the rookie.
Well, a very nice pickup last year was Leroy Albarillo because he just came in and blended with the team immediately. Oh,
offensive foul. I am just as surprised.
Let's take a look if he used that left hand to ward off. Even lost his balance here as Albarillo ran side by side with him. A lot of pressure being applied here. Solis getting Frankie Lim up into the air.
And so the shooters, the gunners, finally meet, huh?
Both long-range shooters, both also pretty good defensive players.
I'll meet you at high noon, he says. And this is high noon tonight. Pushing foul.
Called on Ravenna.
Ravenna gets his first personal foul.
A lot of people flocking into the Cuneta Astrodome. I would say we have a crowd of about 6,000 to 7,000 right now here.
Yes. Joining our good friends, joining us wherever this coverage may be reaching them in our great country. 3-point lead by Swift. 7:56 to go. Alvarillo thought about pulling the trigger. Ended up losing the basketball to Rosella.
And we'll have a loose ball foul called on Alvarillo.
In his earnest desire to regain possession, ended up committing that foul, his first. Let's count the team fouls, friends. Swift has 5 compared to the 3 of Coney Island.
Meneses getting his first rest of the game, Seb. And by your statement, that means that the Swift Mighty Meaties will be in penalty from now on, with still 7 minutes and 45 seconds left here in the second quarter.
Quite a lot of time remaining, yes.
Let's see if Coney Island takes advantage of that by driving.
Frankie, one of the spots he likes, but he's offline. There's a slippery spot just at the left corner court area.
I've been a little bit frustrated because as he went for the loose ball, he tripped over the foot of somebody who was also going for that scramble. Like you saw that in that play. I think he almost stepped on the foot of Nelson Asaytono there. That's why he fell to the floor.
7:22 to go. Bounce over now to Distrito. He's looking for a teammate. Solis unprepared to receive the pass. Jerry Cordillera. Oh! Ravenna.
Well, that's one time when you're really happy because you made such a bad mistake that you had a trailer who happened to be your teammate, and Ravenna made up for that possible missed dunk shot by Jerry Cordillera, who did not handle the ball well in that last play.
Ended up.
Oops.
Yes, Ravenna with a near steal. Oops.
And Ravenna seems to be hurt as Nelson Asaytono banged him from behind. Coney Island really hoping for a foul to be called there, and Ravenna seems to be hurt just below the knee.
And I think I saw his head hit the floor as well.
See here?
Yes.
Referee could have called a foul there because easily Ravenna was at the right position to pick up the ball. Nelson's trying to get it from behind, bangs into him. Ravenna's there to get away. Nelson practically holding on to him. No fouls were called. Ball was given to the Swift Mighty Meaties.
And that is exactly the bone of the contention being made now by Chuck Reyes. 25-24. Swift up by 1. 6:50 remaining. Ravenna is assisted by the cornerman of Coney Island.
He seems to be limping, and we don't know if that injury will take him out of the ball game permanently today, no? But Glenn Capaccio has come back into the ball game to replace him.
Asaytono from afar, no connection.
And that is not the best shot for this guy who plays well on the inside, to take a three-point shot and have really nobody helping him out in the offensive rebounding.
Alvin, Frankie, back to Alvin. Jerry unloads.
Yes. And 26-25 now, Seb, a 1-point lead for Coney Island in a very low-scoring match here.
And now a successful 10-0 explosion by Coney Island. Swift has been limited to just 2 points so far in the quarter. Rosella ended up climbing the railing there. 6 minutes, 7 seconds remaining. Coney Island has already grabbed the lead. 6 on the shot clock.
Nice getaway there, but a missed layup again by Asaytono.
Patrimonio Difficult catch. Glenn taking it hard. Offensive foul on Patrimonio. Yes, the second.
Let's take a look at this. Patrimonio and Rialubit both trying to get position. And Verel Meneses has come back in for Al Solis. That, by the way, Seb, is the 4th team foul for Coney Island. Mighty Meaties are in penalty.
Towards the end of the first quarter, it appeared that the Coney Island Ice Cream Stars were being engulfed by the pressure. At this juncture, quite clear that the shoe is on the other foot, with Swift feeling a bit of the tension of the ball game.
I really feel at this point Coney Island has a strategy. They don't want to rush the game as much as possible because they want to use their defense to try to lower down the score of the mighty Swift scoring machine. And their defense has helped them in this quarter. Jerry! Make no mistake about that, this time on the part of Jerry Cordillera.
And the Mighty Meaties will take a timeout. 5:19 remaining. Coney Island is in front by 3, 28-25. Rialubit. Jerry Cordillera beginning to assert himself in this quarter.
Well, it's very easy to rebound from the weak side, and because it's the Asaytono just right behind Jerry in those last plays. No?
Marcela making a contribution, and now Chuck Reyes going quite big here with Manny Victorino being inserted into the lineup.
Yes, that is a very powerful offensive and defensive forward lineup that he has on the floor. Swift Mighty Meaties have been nailed to 25 points, 2 timeouts already called by Yen Giao in this quarter. And finally a long one here by Meneses, but just a 2-point shot.
Only the second field goal of
Swift in this quarter.
They have scored only 4 points. The captain has Rialubit as a waltzing partner. Victorino popping out, asking for it. Alvin moves in. Dish off to Cordillera.
And there's going to be a pushing foul on Rialubit against Manny Victorino. You see, with that lineup that you just mentioned, Seth, when Alvin drove in, he had the option of Jerry to drop off. At the same time, Manny knows they're going to take the shot, so he comes in for the possible offensive rebound. 3 big men right there in their forward lineup. Very hard to contend with.
Manny Victorino. 10 years ago, Manny Victorino was the PBA's most improved player. Began his career in 1981. You know, in that year, he was the most improved player. Great taste. The team he was with at that time won 2 titles, and he even made it to the mythical first team in that year.
That's right. It's been a struggle for him lately because of the fact that he's playing with such talented men, big men on that team. But he has the experience. He has won many championships. And he's still, although at 35, he's still got a lot of legs, no? But he's got to make free throws, which was his problem last year with Ginebra.
Yes, absolutely. Career average of 18.7 points and 11 rebounds. Those are big numbers. Meanwhile, the turnaround works.
Finally getting Asaytono to the low post instead of letting him play up high. And the Mighty Meaties have run off a 4-0 run here to cut the lead down to 1.
The clock reads 3:44.
Eric Reyes, by the way, is on the floor replacing Saldi Rialubit, and he's on top of Alvin Patrimonio.
Jerry with a dish off. Glenn deep under the sea. Anytime you get a big game from Glenn Capaccio, you're in business.
And the other team is in trouble.
Yes. Conversely.
Correct. Like a theorem, huh?
Yes. Ramble! And winning out on the Ice Cream Stars. Look at Glenn Capaccio. Look at his eyes. If only eyes could kill. If only looks could kill.
Ooh.
But that's
yes,
unintentional, as he was really trying to gain a clear advantage. He ended up elbowing Alvarillo.
That's right. And that's a good call. There were some questionable calls in the game, but I think that was a good call. Capaccio did not want that ball to be taken away from him, and he did not really know what to do with it at that point, so he put out that elbow.
3 minutes to go in the first half. Of course, when we hit the second half, our Modulite brake fluid batch brake will be presented to you. Some big misses by the Mighty Meaties in the second quarter.
Well, they were not prepared for that defense of the All-Stars. The All-Stars trapped. And then all of a sudden, you see Jerry, who is the last man on defense, come in to help out. So they were not really prepared for that defense of the All-Stars.
The Coney Island Ice Cream Stars were ahead 32-29, take a timeout with 2:48 to go. When we get to lemon time, we're going to have our Nutrivim halftime report. A loaded edition, no doubt. Ronnie Nathaniels will chat with the reigning Miss Universe Puerto Rico's Miss Dayanara Torres. Ang sarap ng intro sa kanya ni Ed Pixon ng isang gabi kasama si Yang Yao. And it's a conversation with the Queen, and we shall try to dissect the first half of this knockout match and the second portion of the Nutrivim halftime report. Turnover story on your
And
screen.
that has hurt the Swift Mighty Meaties in the second quarter. 10 turnovers, 10 opportunities that you could have shot, it did not come. They tried a backdoor play there for Meneses, and there was a loose ball foul called on Victorino. Since they are in the penalty, Meneses will go to the free throw line.
Victorino with his third personal foul. Here's Meneses, all set for a pair of charities. Meneses currently in double digits. He has 10.
Well, so far in this quarter, prior to these free throws, Mighty Meaties have only scored 6 points while allowing the other team, the All-Stars, to score 18 points. That's the 7-point. Yang Giao, a little bit apprehensive at this second quarter, the way his team played. And the turnovers really helped them, you know.
Yes.
10 turnovers, the quarter is not over yet. So you lose the opportunity to shoot, to even take an attempt.
Meneses has also been doing well from the field, 4 of 5. 34-31, Coney Island is still in front though. Frankie Lim downstairs to the captain. Now the double team. Frankie Lim free for a triple B. Evangelista gets clobbered inside. Here's Boy beats Victoria.
And that is the hardest matchup for All-Stars. They have to guard Meneses with Evangelista. And he cannot do it, you know.
What a second quarter Vergeles had. 8 of his 14 points now unfolding here.
Single-handedly trying to keep the Swift Mighty Meaties in the ball game. Oh, that's traveling. That is traveling.
A minute and 40 seconds remaining. 34-33. Coney Island still up. But here's a chance for Swift to take the lead. It's Victoria against Drusilla. That has been a familiar matchup here.
You have noticed a change in the formation of the offensive game of the Swift Mighty Meaties, and that's why they're able to get shots like this now. They don't go straight to the low post one-on-one. They have screens. That's what Meneses did coming from the weak side, and then he realizes that if there's a double team, somebody's going to be free, and they know exactly who it is.
Which has happened in the last 2 sequences for them, which have been both productive. And they are now in front, Dr. Jace. 35-34, a minute and 3 seconds. Patrimonio attracts the familiar double team. Went up with nothing.
And with Ria Lubit sitting on the bench, you know, Swift has shown a lot of quickness on their defense. That's a very tight pass. That's another turnover that was unnecessary.
Rosella, what a pass!
Yes, sir. And with 43 seconds left in the second quarter, the All-Stars have not taken another 1-point lead.
Seesaw battle, nip and tuck affair, name it what you want. This is a battle royale here at the Astrodome.
That is an offensive foul, if they're to be consistent. As you saw, that since he faked out, Jerry did not bite. He put that shoulder on Jerry Cordillera. And Jerry really guards Nelson well, especially if he's going to try to score underneath the basket.
Jerry Cordillera, the man mountain, did not budge. How do you move a mountain?
Only 15 seconds left. Difference of about 3 seconds, game clock and shot clock.
Rosella with a great ball fake. Had everything except the shot. Evangelista with an arm foul. This will give Swift a chance to shoot from the line.
Chotre is a little bit unhappy with the move of Rosella. They did not use the clock. Instead, they allowed the opponents to get another crack, and that would be from the free throw line to try to chip at their lead. He was telling Rosella, too much time, too early for you to try to go in.
And subsequently, they will be under time pressure, only 5.8 seconds to have hopefully the last say as we take a look at the destroyer, currently docked.
It's 36 all. And how close can you get with 5.8 seconds left here in the second quarter?
Asaytono 50% from the field in the game.
Now they've got to go and release that shot.
Rosella,
You got to throw that up.
Matrimonio.
No more time.